Main event mamas bringing the heat. Talking life, love, and the wrestling beat. Step in the ring with the real ones, me. Mic in hand. Yeah, we on repeat. Yeah. Tag team champs of the everyday grind. Body slammed out, leave them behind. From the school runs to the grocery lines. Still got time to drop these rhymes. Late night chats over spilled tea. Wrestling moves in reality. Balance it all like it's destiny. Mama life is the legacy. Main event mamas, we run this show from the road.
Hi, I'm Kiara.
And I'm Tanisha. And you're now entering Sister Chat. Welcome to Main Event Mamas.
Whoop, whoop. You can whoop whoop today. Because, you know,
Whoop.
so late, but we're super excited to come back to you guys. We're back with the parenting adulting episode, something we've missed for a little bit. Want to remind you that if you've missed out, we dropped an episode this Monday, America's Next Top Model, the trial of Tyra Banks, Mama's Timeout. So there's still other ways for you to stay in contact with us in between time and the meantime. But there was a big celebration this week.
It was your birthday.
It was my birthday. That's right. And we're going to jump into our adulting topic right after I remind you that this is your moment to hit that subscribe button and wherever you're currently watching and or listening to us on. And with that, it was my birthday.
Adulting talk, yeah, it's a thing. Over 18, what will life bring? Adulting talk.
It was your birthday.
It was my birthday. And strangely enough, it was a rough one.
Oh,
It was a rough one for me, I feel
why
like.
so?
I think birthdays are really weird for me. Like, I think as you get to a certain age, it's less about yay and more about, okay, like, it's not a bad thing. It's just not as exciting as when you are, yeah, younger. Because, you know, we were so ready to be adults. Now that we're here, I'm like, yeah,
You know what?
I want a
You ain't lie.
refund.
You will not lie. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I was a little blue. You know what I mean? Despite having like a really fun, like I was out of town. I went to a wrestling event for the first time. I should have been super excited. And I was just like, hmm. So I felt a little blue. Did that ever happen to you on your birthday? Or are you like, yay, birthday, celebrate me?
I mean, I think this time, yes. But well, no, yeah, this time. I think I felt a little blue once my date came. I wasn't blue when it was coming. I think I got blue on my date. Like, it was like a little weird. I think I was expecting more and I didn't get it. Like you said,
Oh
like
yes, I remember.
we want the ooh.
Yay. Yeah.
And then when you don't get it, you're just like, am I too old for this now? I'm not quite sure. Because you're
A
right.
little
Like when
bit.
we were like 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, we were like,
Girl, we turned up. It was the
you know?
biggest day ever. But now it's just like, eh.
But I feel
It's
like
like
when we
it's
turned 40, we were excited. I don't think we had blues when we turned 40.
no, actually, which
So
I'm
this
like,
is,
you know, so I will tell you, I did do something really different. So I bought a cake, but it was small because I'm like, we don't need like a whole bunch of cake in this house. And so I bought a tiny cake. And then this is the first year I did not put a number on the cake. It just had a happy birthday candle. And that was not actually intentional. I was going to buy numbers, but as I was going around the store, I must have lost one. And so I just didn't buy any number. And because I wasn't going to go back and find it. No, why do that? The line's crazy as it is. And so I thought about it, like, should I go back and get another one? And immediately was like, no, this is it now. I feel like once you get to that age, you're like, yeah, you don't need no numbers. I'll get numbers when it's a big like milestone. You know what I'm saying? Like, yay. But right now it's just one more number after a milestone. Just
to
one
be
little number.
fair, I don't think I even made me a cake or got me a cake. Wait, no. I did make me a cake, but did I put candles on the cake? No. I didn't blow it
You
out.
didn't?
I don't
You didn't make a wish?
I didn't make a wish. I didn't
Girl.
do anything.
Now the wish is required.
I remember I made a cake, but I wasn't the one eating it. These kids were.
That's why I got small cake. So I gave everybody a slice and then I put the rest of the tiny cake in my fridge. So, and then I proceeded to eat it the next day, like, because I was like, it's my birthday cake. I can if I want to. So
I mean, that's true.
I did. I
Absolutely.
did. And it's gonna be a minute before I get cake again. So it's really important for me to just enjoy. I don't even have cookies this week. Like it is a rough one. We're over here with yogurts and cheese and grapes again. That's where we are. Anyhow, the reason why I asked you about this particular question is did
Mhm.
you know that it's a documented statistical phenomenon called the birthday effect?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, me either. Where your physical and mental health are impacted by your big day. It acts as a temporal landmark, the border between old you and new you.
Mm,
Crazy, right?
mhm.
So
That's
as I
weird.
did a little research on this, because I was like, wow, that's crazy. There was some more darker research that I just didn't want to bring up. Like, I was like, no, we're going to delete that. There was like apparently some weird statistics about more people dying close to their birthday and why that might happen. And I was like, nah, we're not going to talk through that. So instead, we're going to talk through this birthday effect. And if you find yourself like me, messed up, um, or the week of your birthday. And by the way, why is it that everybody else's birthday around your birthday suddenly becomes a thing? Because I have been in like 8 meetings in the last 7 days, and everybody has a birthday around now. Like, it's crazy.
Well, I feel like I've always had that. I remember even like in middle school, it was like me, somebody else, then somebody else, then somebody else, then somebody else, always the 31st. And then it was like, okay. I knew somebody who was born every day after my birthday.
I didn't at all. Like, I was trying to think about that. I was like, I did meet somebody who had my birthday when we went to college. Shout
Uh-huh.
out to Aquila. Girl, that was the best thing ever. And then after that, like when I worked at my previous job, there was somebody's birthday either the day before or the day after. I dated a
Mm.
guy whose birthday was like the week before.
Oh, that had to be interesting.
I discovered me and Pisces are no good.
Oh, okay.
I also was born on the cusp of Pisces and Aries, so I think that makes me naturally someone who's like both of us can't be emotional. We can't be that in touch. One of us has to be egotistical. So that's the best way to put it. Anyway, nonetheless,
Yep.
it's fine. It's fine. I know who I am. I also didn't have a chance to tell you this story real quick because I was talking to someone today and they go, I've discovered something about you. He was like, everything is yours, yours, yours in your house. And I was like, yes. He goes, that's not selfish. I said, my selfish matches my husband's selfish because it
Mm.
never used to be like that. I said, I was like, I used to be like ours and we. And then like, he was like, no, yours and yours. And so then I start doing it and he has his and his. And so our selfishness, I guess, matches. I thought it was such a funny, like, topic because the guy was like, I don't know if this is appropriate to say it. I'm like, it absolutely is because it's like it didn't make me feel no kind of way because I was like, actually, it didn't.
That's
I was not
it's
that
how it works.
way, but
I think
that's how my house is.
I think I'm opposite. I get offended.
Everything's ours and we
Yeah,
and
because I get offended when you be like, "Well, I
mine.
and mine," and and you'll be like,
It's
"Word?"
okay. See, I feel like I used to, and then like one day my husband sat me down and was like, nah. Like he's like, no, it really is yours. Like you need to own that because it's yours, like not ours. Because so now I'll be like your child, but I do feel like that's slightly different. I'm like, I
I
mean,
mean, I
that
feel like
child
that's
is.
different too because if I can't talk too loud because my mom's here, but if she gets, on my nerves, I'd be like, "So your mom did X, Y, and Z."
Oh yeah, I do that too. I'm like, guess what your mama did today? And so Anyway, that takes us back to it. Anyway, so I
Mhm,
will tell you, during this time,
mhm,
people kept asking me, like, why are you feeling blue? I'm like, I don't know. So I explained to somebody, I said, I feel like you start thinking about your life. Like, this is
mm,
another 365 days from the previous time. What has changed? What's improved? What's gotten worse? Like, I feel like I started comparing to where I thought I'd be
mhm,
versus where I am.
mhm.
And I think that also helped with the spiral of it all.
That
And then
makes
I
sense.
found out that was also part of the birthday effect.
I mean, that makes
And
sense.
then, I mean, it did, but then I was like, have I done this before? Like, no. Like, I'm usually pretty chill on my birthday. I just want to like, typically, I do my thing. I go like, I never work on my birthday ever. So I always like go do something fun for myself and be like alone and at peace with no one
You s
calling or asking me
you see,
anything.
I used to be that way, and now I don't because that's when I actually get my celebration. Well, when I used to work where I worked, they would make sure I had
Oh yes.
my
Yes.
cake and sing to me and be like, "Yay." It
I
was
did
all
too.
about me in that moment. So I would actually go to work on my birthday so I can get the
Really?
me moment.
Yeah, no. No. I never work on my birthday. So they would either do it the day before or the day after.
Mm.
But I got some really cool stuff. Shout out to my Engle Martin family. They were pretty awesome.
Yeah,
There was
no,
a
see,
telenovela. There was like a telenovela on my wall one day, like a cover, because they knew how much I loved those TV shows. And then I had another boss who bought me a mug that was like, "My life is a telenovela" or something. And I was like, "Yep, actually, sure, accurate." So I mean, I just thought it was interesting that like this was all part of this birthday effect I had never heard of before
mhm.
because I just thought like it did happen. Because another thing to think of is there's this thing called the nine ender phenomenon, where ages like 39 and 49 feel like a crisis. Oh, research shows a massive spike in an existential stress as we rush to find meaning before a new decade. Did you experience that before like
So,
the big
as
birthday?
as you said that, I did feel like I experienced that when I was 39. I felt like I was going through a little midlife crisis. Hence why I was like, I'm gonna go away for my birthday. Screw y'all and everybody. I don't care. This is what I'm doing.
Oh,
But I
yes,
also feel
yes, I
like too
remember.
at that time is when we got laid off. Well, I got laid off.
Yes.
And it was
Yeah, and
just
then I
like
got laid off right after.
so it was just like it was a whole bunch of it. It was like, well, it's time to figure out where I'm at. So F y'all.
That's crazy. But also, I don't like, I'm like, I
Like I
didn't
wanted
feel that way,
everything.
I guess.
Really? I feel like I wanted everything. I wanted to do everything. Like I wanted to uh
Really?
you know how like they have like those bucket lists. Now granted, I don't have a bucket list. I just think
I was gonna
I
say, do
just
you have one?
I just go with the flow. Like whatever pops in my head, I'm like, oh, I should do that. And then sometimes it's a good idea, sometimes it's not a good idea. Like, ugh.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think what I should have did was went ziplining, but I didn't, but there's things where I just felt like, yeah, we can get 5 tattoos, I'll do it. Or like I was down for anything just because I felt like I needed to be down for anything.
Hmm.
It was like a weird this thing I think once I was like the time freed up, so that I got all this time and my
Mm-hmm.
birthday's coming, it was just like, well, we just need to grab hold or
Do
anything.
everything.
So that's why I said I felt like definitely that was like a midlife crisis in that moment of time because it was just like YOLO.
Oh my gosh. So I think that's really funny because I'm like, I did not experience that at all. I think I was so into like savings, but there was a lot of stuff going on family wise at that time too.
Right.
So I was like, I didn't even have the space to like feel some kind of way or to, I think, have that stress or
You
that
didn't.
crisis. And I think, like, maybe that's why I also think that might be a contributing factor to
Mhm.
why this year was particularly rough, because I didn't have that last year. But this year, I seriously, I mean, I really thought about some things. But I'm also very, like, frugal because I'm like, prices are going up. You need to be mindful. My husband's car was in the shop. Like, you just
Yeah.
can't be out here like. Psh. But what I did do is I always give myself a bit of a shopping spree. So I go like to Five Below or the dollar store and I like buy a bunch of stuff, which I did do. I did do.
But this is the funny part. You like, "So, I'm gonna shop at spree at the dollar store." And you're like, "Really?
Mhm.
Really?" Meanwhile
Because it's frugal.
I
Okay,
know,
a shopping
meanwhile,
spree
I'm
at the
sitting here
dollar store
I'll
is
sit
what I
here
would
and
say.
shop on Fashion Nova. I mean, I did do that too. I did that last year. I was like,
I didn't do
"Hey,
that.
we need this outfit and that outfit. Oh, yep, I want this one, and send."
I mean, I thought about it. I really did. I thought about it and I was like, no. But I did do things to like invest in my space. I bought like another storage thing. So now I have like different space. So I'm like, I did do some shopping. I did do some things. But I thought in general, like that sense of like the niner energy, I was like, I've never thought about this. So I now should I be
Mm.
worried about 49 and 59 and
Well,
69? Like,
well, maybe because by then your kids will be in college
hmm hmm hmm
and you will be a empty nester. So who knows what that 49 may look like for you versus me.
Ooh, I got plans for some shenanigans.
You
Like,
see what I'm saying?
my husband and I can't wait. Can't wait. But like, if they both leave, then we can be alone at the house again. Get up to shenanigans that we haven't been able to get up to many, many
But that's what I'm
moons.
saying. Maybe by that you may have, maybe you will, or maybe you won't. Because let's be clear, I've always been the wild child compared to you.
Mhm.
So you've always been the sensible one. So don't feel a way that you weren't where I was last year.
I'm sensible. I like that. I mean,
I mean,
ask my
just think
husband. I
about
don't
it.
think he thinks I'm sensible. He's like, why do we do these things? However, he did tell me something that was very funny. He goes, I clearly married the right sister. That's what he told me yesterday. I was like, it made me feel like we were in one of those, like Victorian
You know,
times where, you all had to marry off the siblings. And he was just like, thank God I picked you. And I was like, that's crazy. I was like, I don't know, you might have fun. He's like, no, 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 no.
no, he
You'll
would have been stressed
understand.
out. He would have been stressed out between me and the other one. Yeah, I don't know.
He's like, you are pretty awesome. I just want you to know that. And he bought me Crunch bars today. So shout out to that. Nothing like chocolate.
Really? A crunch bar? I mean, I'm not
Oh,
saying those things are good. Those little wafers. Anyway, we're
anyway, yeah, back
yeah.
to y'all know this is one of them days we're gonna be off topic. But anyway, there's another stress spike I want to talk about.
Okay.
It's called the forced joy and pressure of being the center of attention, which can trigger a literal stress response like high blood pressure. I think this is the thing that contributes to that potential like weird death phenomenon around your birthday. And so I was like, us people, as we are, we kind of like to be the center of attention.
So
So I was like, that doesn't stress me out.
I'm
I
only
find that
stressed out when
very
I'm not.
fun.
I'm like, why don't you want me to what? What? Why? What do you
I mean,
mean?
I don't quite know if I feel like stressed out, but I thought like, hmm, these are all the things I discovered looking into birthday phenomenon and like how you like deal with birthdays and how the different emotions that come out of it. But it was weird, right? Like, really? All these things are born from the sense of a birthday.
Well, I mean, if we put it frank, we didn't ask to be here. No
Facts.
one asked to be here. So when we get here, we are thrown into pretty much the wolves, the masses, right? And we're just
Yes.
navigating and trying to survive and find our own packs so we don't get eaten alive, right?
Amen. Amen.
So that would make sense that people would get stressed or things of that nature. And then too, like you said, when we were younger, it was made a big deal because now everybody's getting older, everybody's feeling the weight. And then once you hit a certain age, you're just like, okay, I'm here. Do I care? But that's also, I think, too, I think that depends on the people you're around, 'cause there's some people out here that celebrate just like if they were 18, 21, 22, 23, and they
True.
got the people that come around and do it, and then I think so I also feel like that's too, I think for us as a family, we are not used to being celebrated after a certain point.
Yes, I think that's also true. But I also wonder if that is a cultural thing too.
Mm,
Because I'm like, there was a certain point where my mom stops like buying I think we talked about this. Stopped buying like birthday and Christmas presents and that kind of thing. So I think like after like 18 or so, that was like when we got cut off for all the extra shenanigans. And I'm like, it wasn't a big deal. Um, we just assumed, I think it felt like a big deal when she told us. And then after a while, I just got used to like, yeah, it's whatever.
I
Which is
think you're
why I think though,
mhm,
when people did things like the people at my job and things, it made me feel extra special. But I also, like I said, I think it might be cultural in some cases because I also noticed that other races and ethnicities don't do that. Like
mm-mm.
they have like celebrations and stuff like that past, like I remember talking to people about people's 40th birthday party and they were doing surprise parties and all of that. So I wonder if there's a factor that makes that cultural. Or
I
maybe
mean
we just, have
I mean,
parents who don't do
I
that.
think there is, but also I think it could just be each family based, but I do think it's cultural. It could be cultural as well. Um, or it could be, I think for me, just like how you said you got cut off, I got cut off for my birthday once my mom became a witness. So
Okay.
I feeded off of everyone else acknowledging me because I knew my mom wasn't going to do it in that way. Now, don't get me wrong, she did take me places, but we always did it the week before or the week after my birthday, never on my birthday.
Okay.
So, like, we had like my favorite place. We used to go to Friendly's, so I would go there, before the week before or after, but it was never then.
On your day.
So on my day, it's a big deal when someone wants to celebrate me because it's like, thank you. But I also, I mean, it could definitely be cultural because I think just in general, I don't see a lot of people like going all
I
out
don't either.
unless
I
it's
thought, and I
yourself
was like,
going out all out for it.
yes. Which I think, I mean, that's another thing. I'm like, I've seen some people do it, and it's
Mhm,
usually like either them. And that's another thing. I remember when I was at working somewhere, went to a friend's 40th birthday party, but
mhm.
she planned the whole thing. Like she picked the club, she picked everything. So I'm like, I wonder if that is again cultural in the sense that you have to do it for yourself. Or, I guess it could be a family thing, but I just like you said, I don't feel like I know too many people who look like us,
Mhm.
or have the same heritage that are like, yeah, we have big birthday parties every year.
No,
So I think that's
or they do
interesting.
it for the milestone ones only.
Mhm. Yeah, the milestone
Especially once
ones,
you
'cause
hit
I
like the
do.
70s and the 80s and the 90s and the
Yes.
hundreds, then that's like a grand gesture.
I'm like, "When's the last time we celebrated my grandma's birthday?" See, that's a
Mm,
good point now, you got me thinking about this. I don't think she's 90. I think she'll be mad at me if she I don't think so, but I
okay.
am pretty confident that she might be paying close to that. Shout out to my
I
grams.
mean, I guess the other thing is beauty parties. My mom don't celebrate her birthday, so
Yeah. I was like, I don't think my mom celebrates
I
hers
don't
either.
throw her a big
We
party.
call, like, we do
Yeah.
call, and we
Mhm.
do, like, I used to have the kids call, and say happy birthday grandma and stuff, but I'm like, "Yeah, why is that a thing?" Like, when did this happen? Should we just, like, reverse the trend and be like, "Celebrate everybody's birthday?" But then I feel like that puts pressure on people based on the fact that we didn't do it previously.
And that's what I'm gonna say. And the only reason I'm saying this is because my niece's birthday was the day before yours, and she's about to
Mm.
celebrate, but she didn't wanna go to dinner. Her friends made her go to dinner, and then I was like, "Well, are they paying for you?" And she was like, "No, we're all paying for
Then why
ourselves."
are
And I
you
was like,
going?
"So if you don't wanna go, then don't go." Because I mean, and I think that's another trend too that is kinda like, I know if I'm going out and you are taking me out for my birthday, I'm expecting you to pay, not me to pay.
Yep. Because you invited me, so I'm assuming that unless yeah, no, because 'cause I'm like,
No.
why would I go out if I didn't wanna go out unless you're paying?
So I think that's another trend that we need. that is a maybe why we're starting to see this thing because some people are like, you can pay for yourself. Or you get the ones where y'all all go out and one person's like, I'm paying for my food and your food. But then everybody's like, but we're supposed to be splitting the bill down the line. Like, I'm not paying for you and your 5 or 8 drinks and your steak when I only had water and fries. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, I wonder if that also
Yep.
plays a part into it too. Like, as in why certain things are not being celebrated or why these things are feeling how they feel.
So actually, this actually leads us to the next level of this conversation because the next thing I want to talk about is kind of how we celebrate and how that changed. So
Mm,
not only are you dealing with potentially being super sad on your birthday and that, and high blood pressure causing you to, but that was the Thanos snap in case y'all can't see me. So then you have the sense of parties and
mm,
how that shifts during that time too. 'Cause I did a little bit more research into this because I was like, let me tell you, my birthday was spent, like I told you, I like to hang out with myself. I like to like shh, quiet time, a little whatever you want to do day,
uh-huh,
shenanigans galore. Like whatever you want to do today is what you get to do. So intentionally, I try to make sure like if it's on a weekday or a weekend,
mhm.
I'm not wife, I'm not mom. I mean, I am obviously. You can't just
But the
retire those.
day is
But
actually about you. Mhm.
right. So I try to make sure like the day, like I cook, usually I cook on Mondays. I didn't cook Monday,
See, that's the thing. On
right?
my birthday, I was cooking. I was cooking me my meal
No, no, I
and
don't
cooking
cook.
everybody else food.
We go out. That is our tradition. So instead of a birthday party, what we do is we go out to dinner. We go do a fun activity, and that's kind of it. Right. So it's like, and then I buy presents for other people. So that's that. That's kind of how it goes. Except my husband. I don't buy presents for him because his budget is crazy work. So listen, we want to have champagne taste, we need champagne drops. So we don't have those. So we got to be
I
mindful
mean, well,
about
champagne is
how we
not as
spend.
expensive as you think it is anymore,
That's
so
not what I meant. Okay, maybe I should say caviar. You know what
there you
I'm
go.
saying? The
Yes,
point
caviar.
is,
I'm like, "That's
you
expensive."
want luxury items, we need luxury
Mhm,
income. We need to be
mhm, mhm.
mindful. And again, that's my sensibility coming in. But it made me start to think about, like, again, I like to chill, and I've done this for my birthday for as long as I can remember in terms of adulthood. Like, I used to go see movies. Like there was a good string of years there that I would go to the movies on my birthday and see like the newest Twilight or the newest Fast and the Furious or
Mm,
whatever it was. Like that was my thing. It'd be me in the movie theater. Now occasionally some friends would come, one or two, but that was the extent of a party.
okay.
That was it.
Well, I mean, at least you still was yeah, low key
Because I
one.
don't really
It was low key.
yeah. I mean I like things that are close knit and like not so much of a crowd person. So I like things to kind of like ease into. Okay, nonetheless, I found this thing that said in our 20s, parties are kind of performative versus at your 40s, gatherings need to be restorative. So what that means is like when you're 20, it's a huge bash. You out there in these streets, you having a
Yeah,
good time.
yeah.
Whereas as you get older, you start to feel a little bit like, got work in the morning, I got kids, I have responsibilities. And so there is a trend of older people who are over 40. So I don't want to say older, but just older than 20 who actually use that time for like chill time. So it was actually funny to realize that I've been doing that probably way longer than before I entered, you know, this particular phase in my life. So I was like, I did that stuff from the jump because I felt like it needs to be restored. Like, how do you prepare yourself for the following day if you're not in bed by 10 o'clock?
Well, I would say I did both, but I felt
Okay.
like I did the restorative part once I became a mom. I didn't really go anywhere. Couldn't It's not that I couldn't, but I didn't go anywhere. I just stayed home. Like, I didn't get taken out. I didn't get nothing. I just whatever. And I think once my kids got older, I have now become the performative. So when it doesn't happen, I'll be like, why? What just happened?
That's so interesting. So you like to be backwards from all these
Clearly,
shenanigans here that we're reading.
clearly,
Because I'm
that's what
like,
that means.
no. I like it to be like, I think, was it last year I went to get a massage or something?
You
Like,
did.
it was very relaxing and very restorative. Like, I used to buy a book. Like, I would go buy a book at a bookstore and I'd be reading and I'd be excited. Like, that was my little moment for me time, I feel like.
Hmm.
Because as we talked about, as someone who wears many hats, like a mom and a wife, you don't get those times. Like, somebody always needs something, or they want to talk about something, or you need to be aware of something and fix something, or challenge someone else to fix something, but you got to
Hmm.
think about it, right? So that's interesting. And I also want to challenge you to next year, don't cook your own meal.
Next year, I am not cooking my own meal.
Like, don't do that. You're not supposed to.
I'll just
And
take
that's why
myself
I
out.
instituted restaurants on birthdays. So we always go out to dinner, regardless of if we do nothing else. We're going out to dinner for your birthday, and everybody gets their own selection of cake.
Well, that I do for the kids because I make their cake. So I ask them what cake they want,
Um, I just
what
brilliant.
flavor they want, what icing they want, what you want on it, what do you want, and I do and I buy them whatever they want to eat.
Oh yeah, see, that's why we do restaurants because they pick
That's
the
it.
restaurant. So that's it. They pick the restaurant, which is funny because my husband picked like Olive Garden. I think one year my daughter picked like this sidebar kind of bar like place. I was like, "Are you kidding?" But it had great chicken wings.
Oh, and I do balloons.
So,
They get balloons.
I stopped with the balloons because I
Mm-mm.
was like, I was sick of listening to them pop.
Oh no,
I can't do it.
no, no.
My
Oh,
nerves
oh, well, no, no, no. That's always things. So I always feel bad if I can't do it or whatever.
for balloons. Okay. And
Yeah.
lastly, there is this new trend, which I feel like I'm ahead of it. I'm ahead of another trend, girl.
Okay.
It's called the analog birthday, which means protecting your attention rather than collecting things. So for these people, they intentionally log off of their phones and their computers. They get in touch with themselves. Like I said, they read a book. They like
Mm.
have experiences that don't require to be online or on the phone. And so I thought that was like a really interesting part because data shows that 76% mental health boost when logging off of digital things. So actually for my birthday, I don't even think I knew where my phone was a good part of the day. I was like, I don't know. I did answer calls because I think it's rude not to answer calls when people call you on your birthday to say happy birthday. But I made sincere efforts to not be online
Yeah,
at all.
no. I guess maybe that's why I got sad because that was the other thing. Um, I I like to be acknowledged. And that may
We
sound like
know.
yeah, I like to be acknowledged. Not just saying we know, whatever. I like to be acknowledged. So however that works. So yeah, I'll be looking on Instagram, I'm scrolling. Did you say thank you? Happy? No? Didn't it? Okay. Like I take mental notes of people who don't say anything. So then sometimes if your birthday comes around, I don't say nothing either. Or I'll make a point to make it such a big deal that you be like, so if you don't do it again, I'm like, see, this is why I don't, because you didn't acknowledge me, but I acknowledged you. Like I even felt away when my old work best friend, she didn't say nothing to me this year. And I was like, word? And you was the one who always went out your way to make sure I had what I wanted on my birthday at work. So how could you not say nothing?
I don't know what to tell you
I
about
don't know.
your thoughts being
Yeah,
valid
I'm
because
just a
that's
special
just
child. I'm a special older person that be like, I need to be center of attention at all times. I don't understand why I'm not. I don't know. Is it the spoiled child, only child slash big sibling syndrome? I don't know what that is, but that's what it is.
Yes, it is. I think that is a little bit of the spoiled child syndrome because I'm like, I think there was a time like coming out of my 20s where I would pay attention to that, but then I also feel like I don't remember everybody's birthday either. I'm notoriously bad at it. So,
But that's why I made it a point for me to remember people's birthdays. Because I was like, if
Oh.
I can't be mad if I don't remember people's birthday, you don't remember mine. But I make it a point. Now, our brother may beg to differ because he goes, I always tell him a week after or a couple of days after. I'm like, well,
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure you don't.
sometimes you work my nerves, so you can. It's not nothing personal, but or it is
Or it's
personal.
very personal because
But
it works your nerves. You know what? Be a better person. I cannot even. You're not great. Okay, y'all. I did not
I just,
expect
I
this to
just,
take a
I
turn.
just, no, I just said, I'm like, at least I remembered. See, okay, you wanna know what? Maybe I get what I dish out.
Yes,
Probably it's what I
yes, you did. I'm
deserve.
glad that we had a whole karmic circle with that. I think I don't even know where we end in this one because I'm like, listen, I've learned some things about you that concern me, and I think you need to bring some of this up in therapy. And then, like, for real, like, I think
Well, I
there's some
can't. She
sense
not.
of petty in there somewhere.
It is.
A
I do.
little
I
bit of
am very
petty.
petty. I am petty and
Wow.
spiteful. Really petty. I'm very petty.
Okay. Um. Well, I need to get you out of that petty spirit because we need to talk about parenting.
Step in the ring, it's a brand new call. Life's a wrestle, welcome to the brawl. Her and the pinfall, who's got the win, yo?
Yeah. So as we talk about parenting, there is a bit of a debate that we had that we want to let everybody in on because I'm gonna laugh at this because you are PTA president, but the debate is about showing up, right? So showing up for your kids in different ways, and so there's definitely times that I feel like too much is being asked of parents to do
Mm,
these things because it's not I'm not just a parent. I am many things and I do a lot of things and I think sometimes it can be misconstrued that if I don't go to every single school event, suddenly I am not an involved parent, which is a little crazy. But anyway, so when it comes to showing up, there has to be a range of participation from being PTA president, Madam President,
kind of
or
things.
knowing the name of your child's best friend you know what I mean? Like I feel like there has to be a range there for moms and dads and grandmas and such who take care of our primary caretakers because there's a lot going on. And I feel like where do we even start to discuss this? Because I think let's start with the idea of what you discussed at first about how you felt showing up should manifest for some people.
Well, okay. Well, this is kind of hard because I am the PTA president. So I'm a very involved parent, like a very, very one. But even before I became PTA president, I would go to like certain events. So like my kids' school, they have like first STEM Fridays. So like the first Friday of every month, you come in for an hour or two. Normally it would be for me 2 hours. Or sometimes I do one and have everybody be at the same class. But anyway,
Mm.
we doing a project or an experiment or something like that, spending time. Um Before when it was the oldest child, I was even more involved. I went on every school trip. Like I took off work. You got a trip, I'm taking off work. I'm paying for me to go. Even when he was in preschool, I was just like, I want to go. So for me, it's second nature. But I will say that at one point, there was times I couldn't get off work. So I didn't go. And my kids did not appreciate that. So I don't know. This is a fine line. Like you have
I
to.
don't think it's fine. I think it's
Well,
large. The
no,
line
I
has
think
to
it's
be larger than
okay. Well, I think it's hard, but I also feel like everyone does what they want to do, right? Everyone makes time for the things that they want to make time for, right? So let's just hypothetically think about a parent who says, I can't take off work to do that, but I will take off work to go to the beach by myself. There's some people out here to do that. Or
yes.
or the ones where they pick and choose. well, I don't want to do this. I'm going to do this. Your child sees that. And then their response to that is, well, if my mom doesn't really care, my parent doesn't really care, why should I really take this serious? Or you have the ones where you see the ones, I remember I came for an award for the youngest. And this particular student, mom is always there. When it came to take the picture, there's like parents come up, take the picture. The mom was nowhere to be found. And that kid, she looked at me, so I was here, and then went off and started crying because now her parent's not here. And her parent apparently was there earlier, but didn't say nothing, didn't say bye, didn't do nothing, and left. That affects the kid. So then at some point, like we went back to saying we people and kids didn't ask to be here. We chose them to be here. It's our obligation to kind of make them feel secure in some aspects. And if that's including school, you should be involved. Now, I will say there's different type of involvements, right? So you have that where you're at everything and you can be involved. But that doesn't
Mhm.
but then there's the other backhand of it. Like maybe I don't show up to every event, but I show up to certain things, or I'm always reachable. So if a teacher needed to call me, or for like you could be involved in that way. But there's some people who are not involved at all. So I think that's where the fine line of just dividing. I think I just lost where I was going, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I do. But I disagree so much. And this is where the debate was.
Okay.
Because listen,
Hmm.
I do think you're right that you obviously can pick and choose what works for you. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I have never and will never be a member of the PTA because that is not on my to-do list and I do not like it. And my kids know that. Now, that does not mean that I am not at every single school conference, that I'm not there doing multiple things, that I'm not available should the teacher, need me. Like I've gone to every single open house and things like that for years. And then I stopped after I got to a certain age because I was like, I don't want to go. I'm tired. I don't want to go after work. But that does not mean that I don't send notes to the teacher. I don't have ways to contact. Like I still have a portal. Like there are ways that I feel like you can get involved that don't require you to do all of the things. Like I said, I feel like it can be a spectrum. You can pick and choose because I would argue that yeah, I can take off a day of work because I need it. Am I going to take off a day to go to your field trip? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm not going. Not now, not ever. I do not want to be surrounded by a whole bunch of kids that are not my kids. As I told a young lady today at work, yes, I have children. No, I don't like children. Like, I have children who are teenagers at this point. I love my nieces and my nephews, but if you ask me to deal with other children out here in the world that were not raised by me or someone like me and don't recognize authority and respect, that's not a good place for me to be. So I don't do any of that
Like you don't babysit.
because
Like you're not gonna like I'm about to offer babysitting services to you.
absolutely not. That
Mm,
was number one on my list of things I would never want to do.
mm,
But that doesn't mean I will not take my nieces and nephews in because I love that. At the same time, I love me a crazy house with my siblings and all the kids and all of that. That is so fun. But I also feel like they listen because they know auntie don't play. It'd be quick. Like, oh, auntie don't play. Now, auntie will let you have all the fun in the world. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a dance party. We're going to play. We're going to eat good. We're going to have so much fun. But you're going to listen.
mhm,
And that's the kind of energy I bring to the table. That's not easy when you're trying. This is why I'm not a teacher. I feel like it's a special calling to be around a lot of children or growing children into adults and having to like be there every day. Yes, you're going to have parents that are not involved at all. So I definitely understand to that degree what you're trying to say because I'm like, I'm not going to leave my child to their own devices
mhm.
at all. Like, I'm going to try to get you to a place where I don't have to be involved or as involved now, which is where we are with at least one child, and we're working on the other. But like I said, I feel like there has to be a range because not everyone has the opportunity to get off work to go on these things. Like that, there's a flexibility that may not be exist for you, and for me, it didn't for a while.
It's a
But then I
comfort.
argue like
Mhm.
it can also feel overwhelming to be the one, again, you have to respond to all the things. And it's
Mhm.
one more thing that we kind of talk about, that sense of feeling like overwhelmed because you have to wear 900 hats a day. Like, not even over a course of days. Like, in some days I wear hat after hat after hat, or two or three hats at the same time. And I have to be the traffic cop, hoping who needs help with what and who needs help with something else. So I feel like when it comes to showing up, there are ways you can do that. And I think we need to acknowledge that there is ways to do that
Mhm.
without necessarily doing everything.
Mhm.
Because I also feel like moms in particular can feel the brunt of some of these like requirements when it comes to schools, right?
Yeah.
So a study that was done in 2025 showed schools called moms 1.4 times more than dads, even when dad is the primary contact.
Mm.
Like, that's a societal norm now, like, the mom knows the things. And this, in fact, is a thing I've seen. Like, even if my husband is the one with my child, they immediately look for me. "Where's your mother?" Like, "Why is your father picking up from school?" Because my mother was busy and she couldn't come and pick me up from school. So I don't feel like they get that same level of, like, forced
Mhm.
attendance that I can
Mhm.
see. So
Mhm.
I'm like, I hear you. I definitely agree that some participation is necessary. I think my sense of participation is directly related to my child. Like, you need me to be there to help you with this. You need me to put you back on track. You need me to do this, do that. You need me to celebrate you because you did a great job. I have no problem with it. I love going to those kind of things. But I need to go to the PTA for what exactly?
Well, so it's also okay, so the PTA is not just you doing fundraisers or whatever. PTA is also for you to learn about things that are happening in the school that you may not be aware of, because not everybody, even though with this age and technology, not everybody pays attention to that information because that's just one notification that they don't feel like dealing with. So they don't look at it, they don't pay attention. How many times I've heard somebody say that they never assessed them on a class dojo, and that's a requirement for you to have. You have to have class, which is an app, a school app that you're supposed to have.
Hmm.
And they're like, "Oh, I just mute that. Oh, why? What? I don't know." And you'd be like, but then you wonder why you don't know what's happening. Or even like the emails. How many times with emails do we just scroll over 9, 10, whatever those emails are?
Hmm.
So even like that, getting emails from your school, like paying attention to those things to help. And so that's pretty much what the PTA is supposed to do, give you those updates, information that you may have missed because you chose not to look into it. Because that's just another thing that is tiresome. Just like how high school, the oldest high school calls at least 4 times after they send a text message. I'm like, I heard you the first time. You don't need
Yep.
to call me again. I don't need you to call me 3 times about the same thing. Thank you very much. So sometimes you start blocking them out. Like I just, so that's
Hmm.
what that
Hmm.
that is what the PCA is for, is to do that. So that's what I
I mean,
say
I
about
hear you. And I get that. And I will say I think as high schoolers, now they do that where it's a multiple touch points, right? So I get an email and a phone call at the same time. And then a message from Talking Points, which is our app,
that. Hmm.
which is how teachers can text you without having your number. So everyone joins the app and we communicate that way, which I do feel like I love that because I'm like, was the day with such and such? Or did something happen?
Uh-huh.
Or can you change this particular thing because they were in your class because I dropped them off and it's excused. Like, so that kind of thing.
Right.
Um, but I hear you. I definitely think I didn't realize that's what PCA do. Usually it's a lot of fundraisers. And so, yep, that was definitely
Well,
a
see,
reason to
you don't
block
even
it out.
have to do the even when it comes to fundraisers, right? Sometimes just volunteering your time for a second. Like, okay, you need me to just do this for like 20 minutes? Sure. Sometimes you don't have to do that either. Or yes, sometimes sending the money. I mean, we have a fundraiser right now, like, because we're trying to do an event. So we need your money to do
Yeah.
the event. But I
Yeah,
mean,
we don't do that.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's all different aspects that you can be a part of the PTA or understand the PTA. But I get it.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. At one point, I didn't do the PTA either. I was like, why? For what? What am I doing that for? What for? What? I was one of those parents. I'm like, I'm involved enough. I don't need to sit here for half an hour. And even with me being PTA president, asked me if I went to one of the high school's PTA since he transferred school. No, zero. No. I do want to do one just so I can see what they talk about, but none. But that's also because I was a part of the PTA when he was at the other high school. And then I'd be like, why are we on here for like 2 hours? You killing me. You killing me, dog. What you talking about? Sometimes,
That's
they'd be
crazy.
having workshops, and I'd be like, I'm not interested in this. Why are we talking? Why are we talking? But
Well,
that's just
yeah,
me.
they do. I will say they do a lot of workshops. But it's not for my demographic, right? Like they have a
Right.
lot
That's what I was
of
about to say. It wasn't, and that's why I stopped doing it for the other one because I felt like he wasn't listening. And I was like, that's cool and all that, you want to get the regular schools and colleges, but can we get a little HBCU? Because not everybody there is light skinned or Asia.
yeah. Well, when I say demographic, I mean like they do a lot of classes for not English speaking.
Mm.
Oh,
Ooh,
excuse
it's
me.
deep out
They do
here.
classes for. I know. I was like, you over here yawning, taking me out.
I'm sorry. I've been trying.
This
Whew.
is your 13th yawn. Like I've been
Oh,
counting.
sorry. Really? You've been counting? That's crazy.
No, I have not. I was kidding. Just being sarcastic. But I feel like, yeah, no, when I say demographic, I also mean like not just English speaking. They have some things that are for people who are needing to get back into the workforce. So they have like certificate programs and
Oh, well,
things like
that's
that.
cool
And I'm
that that
like,
offers that, though.
they do. They have a lot of really great things for people who need it in that sense. But for someone like me, that's not going to be useful, right? So I'm like, now granted, I do love that they have programs for a lot of students to kind of see different things and do different things.
Hmm.
So I can definitely see there's value. Okay. However,
We're
yeah, no.
almost there.
Still
I
not.
think,
Not
think
still no. Still no.
no, no, we're not almost there.
And with
Oh,
that, I feel like, we've been debating back and forth about participation and the pressures that that kind of can feel. But I also want to take a moment to connect the dots between the sense of participation and what we talked about a little bit earlier, like the birthday, because they seem like the same kind of thing,
mm,
performative living. So it feels like you are doing something because you feel like you have to. So, like we talked about
mm, uh-huh,
celebrating and like why you might feel like you need to do this or why you might feel like you need to do that. Or even with the parenting aspect and like them calling moms more than calling dads. Like
uh-huh,
if they call you, you're naturally going to pick up the phone. You're naturally going to like, for most of us, not all of us. I don't want to say all of us do that.
mhm.
But many of us feel like we have to because the world will fall if you don't. Like,
That's
right?
true.
Like so it
That's
becomes this
true.
sense of like not doing what you necessarily want to do, not connecting with the actions that you're taking, but doing it from a sense of obligation. Clearly, that's a problem. Like, I was like, this is a problem, which I felt like I didn't realize how connected they were until I started to think about, birthdays and the guilt I feel when I don't go to school events.
Oh,
Um, because I don't want to, because I did feel really bad. I didn't say this, but I felt really bad that I didn't go to their curriculum night this year. But I was really, really, really,
mm,
and I think recovering from some sickness. And I was like, no. And the one thing I know is my husband, he's not expected to go. So he doesn't go. It's not even on his to do list to go do these things unless I drag him, because I feel like if I have to go, you have to go too. I mean, it's not
not
nice,
every,
but
not everybody has somebody to switch off on. So like, you can
no,
switch.
we didn't switch. Yeah, I was gonna say we don't switch off. My thing is like I have two children. One of us goes to one track, one of them goes to the other track. Like I'm not about to. I did that when they were younger a lot, where I was the only person going to everything, and then decided at some point we were gonna split this load because I don't want to be the one who has to do everything all the time.
And then I'm the
because
one that gives you the update.
the society, right? And then I give you an update. Like, why am I reporting to you like you're the
Mm,
boss? Hold.
mm,
Like, we need to like shift the narrative here. But that made me think about it a little bit more in terms of why are we doing these things? And is this our opportunity to stop? Maybe we're putting this load on ourselves instead of thinking about what's best for us because we want to look certain way. And in this age of social media,
mhm.
where we document everything for the world, where
Yeah.
sometimes it's really hard to be authentic because you just want to look great and feel great all the time. It's time to just get a little bit more real, I feel like. And I feel like people would understand it, or I do. I understand when I don't want to do it. So now, oh my God. So now I want to challenge you to do something rebellious.
Rebellion is my middle name.
I know. Here we go. We're going to say no to something that we, as a parent, do not want to do this. Yeah, seems hard, doesn't it?
Well,
I'm going to tell you what I'm saying no to.
what?
I'm not going to be the person responsible for following up with somebody's teacher. I'm going to make students responsible for following up with their teacher, just like I'm going to make a student responsible for figuring out when we're going to their open house instead of me, because it's an opportunity for learning, A.
Mhm.
And B, honestly, because I don't want to. I don't want to be the itinerary master right now. And I also don't want to be following up with the teacher. So I think it's an opportunity for growth to teach them to kind of step into the roles that they're going to need in their life. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be like, not me, it's you, figure it out. Very excited about this choice.
I don't know if I could do that. Hold on.
You can, I assure you.
I don't know. I don't know. Let me think. I don't know. I can't do that option. You got teenagers. I only got one teenager.
I mean, there is something you can say no to.
What? Feed
I
yourself.
don't know because I
Leave
don't.
me alone.
You could no. I did teach you this before. If
What?
they know how, like, if they can teach, you can teach them how to make simple things that they can use to feed themselves. Like my kids learned how to make oatmeal in the microwave so that they weren't waking me up first thing in the morning. I need breakfast. Like, nope. If you know how to press 30 seconds on a microwave, or if you know how to press 1 minute and 30 seconds on the microwave, you can make your own oatmeal. Just like there's one night in my house a week that is sandwich night because neither myself or my husband want to be responsible for cooking dinner. And we've been doing the whole, like, the sandwich night is still pretty recent because, I used to cook 7 days a week. But the um, breakfast thing, they started doing that way, like, probably like 6 or 7 years old. Because I was like, I'm not getting up to feed you at 6:15 in the morning.
Okay. Well.
Like I get
Okay.
up with them still, but I'm not going to actually. I'm just up to supervise that they do what they're supposed to do, not that I actually do anything except sit here. And some days I sleep until I pray for them and then go back to sleep.
I mean. Okay. So. Okay. I will. Well, I already did. Sorry. I already did. Told my child to go ask her brothers with the homework
Oh,
assignment
good,
because they would know this math quicker than I would.
excellent. See, you did something. You delegated. Also, because you probably didn't want to do her homework, did you?
No, because it'd be like, girl, you know the answer. Why are you looking at me? Like, but also too, this math that they be doing, you'd be like, what?
First
And
of all, that math is crazy.
they be
Because I
like,
was like,
no,
y'all
I
don't
was
do
taught
math
this
right.
way. I was taught this way. I got. I'm like, well,
It's
I don't know
crazy.
that way. So if that's the way you got to learn,
That's my
you
answer
took
many
it.
times. I'm like, mm-mm, mm-mm.
But
I
yeah,
don't do math like that. I do math the way that I was taught to do math, and I still can do math in my head because of the way I was taught. Y'all be doing too much. Y'all teach these kids this confusion stuff, and then it's like, I was trying to teach you 3 other ways to get it. You don't need 3 ways to get it. You need one. It's a little too much. It's too much. It served me well. So I don't know why we're doing that. So anyway, so that's it. I'm glad that we decided to do that, to just
Okay.
make that a moment for yourself, to just be present and to be authentic, not to curate anything, not to do something because you feel like you have to, but do it because you want to and that you connect with the thing that you are doing. Now,
Mm,
obviously, we can't do that all the time, right? Because I
no.
mean,
Yeah. No.
we don't live in the Barbie castle. Like I'm over here doing stuff I
Listen.
got to do anyway. Like I had to
Hmm.
cook dinner today. Nobody held my hand through that process, but it was delicious. So hold that. It was really good. Not gonna toot my own horn here, but toot toot. It was fantastic. Um,
As I went
and I
beep
made
beep.
it in less than an hour. What'd you say?
I was gonna say beep beep when you said toot toot, but
Okay.
I didn't.
Okay,
Yeah.
same thing.
Mm.
Beep beep, same thing. Same thing. So yeah. So I'm glad that we had a moment to talk about this because I think birthdays are overrated. Which sounds crazy. But like after you get to a certain age, it is what it is.
For who?
Exactly. See, we ended up right where we started. That sounds just like you. So it was fun to unpack my birthday blues and to share my realizations of all the issues that come with birthdays with you guys. And then also to look at showing up for your kids and what that looks like. Because ultimately, I think showing up for them should be having a meaningful connection with your children, helping to support them mentally, physically, emotionally, maybe not going to every single PT. So like just, just saying like there's ways to participate and to encourage them to be successful in school and to answer things that the teacher sends you without maybe doing 900 other things that don't fit into your schedule. That's my thinking there. But I understand the importance of people participating, volunteering, and being part of the PTA, and encourage anyone out there to do what best suits you.
I will say they need to make PTA a paid position. Okay, the amount of work I be doing, kind of crazy for it to be volunteer.
They do.
Just saying.
Yeah, it really should be a paid position because
Like
you
if you
out
pay people
here.
to be a part of SLT, which I'm a part of too, if you pay people to do that, you can pay me, the PTA president, the PTA members,
Yes. Hmm.
a small fee to say.
Yes. A
Yeah.
stipend. I hear you. And
Mhm.
I agree with you. They barely pay teachers. They need to go ahead and put that money where it's most due. So with that, we want to thank you for joining us today while we were off track because it's late. But you got to enjoy our birthday celebration conversation and what to do when you feel like you're being pushed into things from school or in life, depending on how you look at it. Maybe you don't want to have that 50-person birthday party. Or in some cases, that 250-person wedding. Like that's a whole nother
Oh, that's a
conversation
whole
we
nother
could get into.
conversation. That's a little cray cray.
Because sometimes you gotta gotta make choices that are best for you and your spirit and maybe not caring what other people say. We can get into
Mm-hmm.
that another time. We want to remind you that if you enjoyed this episode, you want to hit subscribe on wherever you are currently listening to us on, whether that is Spotify and what other places we're going to listen to us, Tanisha?
iHeartRadio, Pocket Podcasts, Amazon Audible, Amazon Music. I said
Pocket
Spotify.
Podcast?
I said Pocket Podcast.
No,
Spotify.
no.
Oh, YouTube Music. Yeah. And then you can also follow us individually. Me, Tanisha at Tanisha_Mama Pod on Instagram and on TikTok. Kiara at Kiara Mama Pod. No space, no underscore on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And on Twitter, you can find her as Content Vixen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you can also follow us on our platforms of TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, on Twitch. Our new platform needs some new followers. Twitch, please support. You can also find us on,
Our website.
God, I forgot.
Our
Our
website.
website at madeeventmamaspodcast.com, where you can see all of our content, every video, the live streams, our blogs, You name it, it's all there in one place for you. And all you have to do is hit that button to play. You don't even have to go nowhere, y'all. Like, we set it up so you could just see all the old episodes. Our vault is open and you can, dive in to Main Event Mama Land. You can also check out our true crime podcast, Aftermath, which is also on that website, has a special dedicated page. So yeah, we definitely want to see you there. And don't forget, you can join our squad, which is our Facebook squad community, where I drop my Raw recaps just about every week. Even though I was late this week, it is currently up and it has a fire graphic. So if I were you, I would check it out to see how I felt about Monday Night Raw this week, because there was a moment. And then we have an extended blog that takes you piece by piece from the entire Raw on the blog. So you have two options available. If you just want that quick hit, you hit the Facebook squad. If you want the full shebang, you hit the blog. And then also join us on Patreon, where we release our recaps for the week. We do behind the scenes, we do quizzes, we do all sorts of fun stuff there. So make sure you join our Patreon, where you can also support our podcast if you like what you're hearing.
Yes. Please follow. Thank you.
Like, share, subscribe, bring somebody. Next time we do live streams
Comment.
every other week. Midnight confessions. Yeah, I'm tired. Every other week on a Thursday. Not this Thursday, because we just had an amazing panel last week. So next Thursday. But we also have some fun cameo appearances, because we like to drop in on different podcasts coming up. So we'll be sure to let you know where you can find us on that and there, so you can keep up with us. So with that, we want to say we're not new to this.
We're so true to this. And this was Main Event Mamas.
Whoop, whoop.
Bye, y'all.
The Main Event Mama's bringing the heat. Talking life, love, and the wrestling beat. Step in the ring.